morning, everyone. Welcome to Kelly's Creative Dream Studios. It is not even 6 o'clock in the morning here in the Ozarks, and it's already humid and nasty outside. Today's Try It Tuesday was a try it that didn't work for me, but it might have worked if I'd have paid attention, okay? I got the idea to do gel medium magazine picture transfers from Tiffany at SouthernGalsDesigns, and here's how I found her. I had watched her several years ago. This video was probably 4 or 5 years old. And to come up with today's Try It Tuesday, I went through my inspiration or tutorials folders on my YouTube channel to see what I wanted to try but haven't done yet, and this was one of them. So let's talk about first what you'll need. You'll need magazine pictures, and I pulled this one. This is one of them that I pulled yesterday because I love this lace. Just love it. I'd love to have that whole garment in real life to play with. So you'll need magazine transfers or magazine pictures. You'll also need gel medium. Now this one is particular a gloss, and you know what? This is another one of those things that has been in my mixed media cabinet forever, and I've never used until today. Now, my idea was initially to see, wow, let's see if I could transfer that to like pattern paper. Instead of making a photocopy, I'm transferring an original image. I'm not copying an original image. And this is what I got. Now you'll see that there's some spots here, and it worked out better on here than it did on another piece I'm going to show you. But once your gel medium transfer has dried, then you go back with your water, and you kind of remove the picture, and it leaves the transfer on your backing paper. But you'll see as I do this, I'm getting some problems with my paper, and that's because the paper is too thin. Now, I can use this. It's a junk journal, but I also tried it on 28-pound printer paper, and while the picture came out okay, if you can see, the paper itself was tearing. And I can go back and trim this out, but if I'm going to do this, I might as well have just used the original picture, right? So, I rewatched Tiffany's picture or video this morning, and I saw what I might have done wrong. So, I'm going to show you the application, and then Friday when we come back for Finish It Friday, I'll show you if doing it on the cardstock worked any better. So let me grab a piece of cardstock. And I'm going to use just regular white cardstock. This is the stuff from Walmart. And we're going to give it a try. And now she said you could use a brush, but using a brush to apply left brush strokes, and she didn't want the brush strokes. So I'm just going to cut a section of this off. And while it's kind of like fussy cutting, you don't have to be really important. And I just want the lace picture. I don't want the girl. So I'm going to cut her out and move her over. We don't necessarily want to see the door panels either, so let's cut away some more of that. And the idea is you take your gel medium, and I'm going to use my mat here. You take your gel medium and you apply it rather thickly. Now I could try using the silicone brush. That wouldn't leave streaks. But how much fun would it be if you didn't get your finger in something, you know? So, and I guess part of it is to apply a pretty relatively thick coating. So, I'm going to do that. Wipe off the extra and see if I can't get some of the streaks out of there. That made it worse, I think. To come back and see if we can smooth it with the silicone brush. And I'm going to apply a little bit more, I think, since I'm coming back in with the brush. And you don't want any air pockets in there either, so I'm not sure if the brush made it any better or any worse. Okay, so we're just going to do this. I think that's going to do it. Now, I have a napkin here somewhere. There it is. To wipe my finger off. Cap your gel medium. Don't leave it undone. Make sure you put your lid back on before you do this so you don't get sidetracked. I'm going to bring my cardstock back in. And where's my pokey tool? There's my pokey tool. And I'm going to lift this up. And then we're going to turn it upside down on our cardstock. Now, you can use a scraper tool from your Cricut. Whoops, maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe not. What I used was a roller. Darn, this is really sliding on the cardstock. I did not have this problem when I put it on the paper. Let's give it some pressure first before we try squeegeeing it down. Let's do that. Then, wipe the glue off my roller. Okay, now that we've applied it to there, and I'm making sure I wipe my excess glue off. Okay, I must have had quite a bit on there. Now see, I put about the same amount on here that I did on the paper, but I didn't have this excess coming off like I do on here. So, it's a trial and error thing. And then you're going to set this aside to dry for overnight. Now, I did not try a heat gun, so let's try the heat gun and see if that makes a difference. While I do this, Bob and I worked out in the garden yesterday morning. We got out there early before the sun topped the trees. Wasn't very hot out. We started about 7 o'clock. By the time I was done at 10:30 with what I needed his help with, I was miserable. I came in and took a cold shower and I went to bed for like 2 hours. And it took me most all day to recover. So while I'm recording this morning, I do have to take some stuff out and burn this morning. Bob leaves this morning, so I'm going to be making cookies this morning to pack for him to go, which is one of the things I should have done yesterday. Now I have that partly dry, but I don't think it's going to be dry enough for us to do the technique because it's still tacky. So I'm going to set this aside and we will reveal this on Friday. Okay? But yeah, Bob leaves this morning so I can get back to getting some stuff done on my time. This is trip 5, or well, on the countdown of 5 trips left for him to, before he retires. This is number 5, counting backwards. So we will have trip number 2 or trip number 4 next in July, and 3 and 2 and 1 in December when he is done and retired. And then I can set a regular office schedule with him. People have asked me, well, if you have your own schedule when he's gone, how are you going, and then you do something totally different when he's home, how are you going to adapt to him being all the time? And that's pretty easy. I won't be thinking that I need to spend every minute with him while he's home after he retires, because he's going to be home all the time. So I'll be able to set a regular work schedule. We'll sit down. I'll show him what I need to do, both for my creative and for my writing, and then we'll work on it to work it out together. One of the challenges, the new challenges we have, is his shooting buddy has moved to Iowa following losing his home in a tornado Memorial Day weekend. So, he was 82, and after that, he just didn't feel comfortable being out here on his property, or on the property he was on, by himself. So, he has moved to Iowa with his friend from high school, who actually owned the property his house was on down here. And so Bob has lost a shooting buddy, so there will be no more days. Why don't you go to Jack so I can get some do a full work day today. There won't be any of that. We're going to have to readjust. But we'll get there. Bob and I communicate really well. He knows how important my creativity part is, and he knows that I need to get books written. So we'll get there. In the meantime, I will be back here on Friday for that reveal. And I think I'm going to have some show and tell from items that I'm making for Maddie's challenges. I'm hoping today to work on a fairy frame, a dimensional fairy frame. We'll see how that goes. In the meantime, remember to like, to share, subscribe. Remember to hydrate, stay cool, and creative blessings.